Hey folks, it's Lindsey Huddleston back in the building with the SPS Mental Health Moment. And I had to take a few moments before I started the interview to get myself together because this nice young man I'm getting a chance to talk to and share is impressive in his own right, no doubt. He has a lot of great things to share. But this is my childhood friend's son, Brian Caldwell's son. So he's a young 18-year-old man on his way to college. And I just think back to when I was his age, it was he and his dad and I were running around at the YMCA and taking trips up to Western Michigan University to see your mom and all that kind of stuff. So I'm happy to have Mr. BJ Caldwell here with me right now on the SPS Mental Health Moment. How you doing, man?
Great, man. How are you?
Great. Yeah, like I said, I got that part out the way, so now I can just give you your just due. Knowing your dad growing up in the city of Detroit, where I always say the alumni of our sandbox, drug dealers, murderers, and college graduates. And your father was a great friend, one of my protectors. He was a really good friend to my brother, who passed away of health issues later in life. But it was always good to be with B on the court and just in life. He was a hard-working man. I know you're not Jamaican, but like he had a bunch of jobs at the time, and he was just making things happen. And I think people really couldn't appreciate your dad's drive and determination and his professionalism at a young age. But now everyone's seeing the result, which is his outstanding young man. So anyway, with that, why don't you kind of take us through what your experience has been like? You're on your way to Paine College for a scholarship for baseball. So talk about what it was like getting that baseball in your hand at 8 years old from your dad and where you are right now.
So, man, it all started off when I tried to actually get on the football field. So, I was getting on the football field, wanted to be a running back, and, things just didn't work out, and it just wasn't something that I wanted to do. So it's a crazy story, actually, on how my dad got me into baseball. So he enrolled me into Oak Park rec baseball, and when I went to my first practice, liked it. Next practice, my coach never showed up. Like, he never came back. So my dad just went and just took over the team. Then he just became my coach. Then he started coaching me since I was 8. Then we just been rolling since.
Wow, and it's amazing that you talk about the age of 8, and I want our listeners to take heed to something. Now you're 18, and you're on your way to college with a scholarship for baseball. So I guess it speaks to the idea that, it takes 10 years to become an expert in something. So for the 10 years you've been playing, you've done all the right things to be recognized to do that. We talked a little bit off camera a little bit about the uniqueness of African Americans in baseball and how, pretty much basketball and football kind of run the day as it relates to, African Americans in the popular sports they're involved in. Not saying that we're not diverse enough to be in other things, but what has it been like for you as a young African American male being committed to the baseball culture as opposed to other sports?
Yeah, it's been great because, like you already said, all African Americans don't play baseball. Most of us are in football or basketball, but it's just great to step on the field with different cultures and different type of people. I've been able to connect with different type of people through the game of baseball, and it's just, I have something different about me. I'm not saying that playing basketball and football, you don't have something different about you, but it's just not a lot of us play baseball. And it's just, I've been able to put myself on the map by playing baseball and just being able to make different relationships and also paying for my college this way.
That's awesome, man. Now, I got a little baseball background. I'm not going to hold you. I was a catcher in West 7. I really enjoyed it, but I think I was just a little bit more intrigued with basketball. And I would give my coach a window when he would come pick me up. BJ, if he didn't show up at a certain amount of time, I would leave and go play basketball. So I was like, I'm going to stay here with it. But I'm really happy with that because I think another thing needs to be talked about is because African Americans aren't as present in baseball, you're almost like a cultural ambassador, I would imagine. It's like you're probably a lot of people's, representation of young African American males because they may be limited in their exposure. Is it fair to say that?
Yes, it is, because I just know there's a lot of people that it's just how baseball is. Baseball, like you said, exposure. You don't get that instant exposure like you can in other sports. You just gotta just continue with the grind, just keep working. And like my dad always said, if you just keep working, somebody gonna tap you on your shoulder. So, like we said with the exposure, yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And also being reminded of the baseball days, is there a certain kind of patience you have to have as a baseball player based on the nature of the game? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, you have to have a lot of patience, man, because in baseball, like unlike other sports, you fail more than you succeed. So, say you're playing Major League Baseball, if I get a hit 3 out of 10 times, I'm a Hall of Famer. So, with patience with baseball, you just got to continue to grind. You know, it might go days, maybe a week or so. It might go a week or so when you're not hitting. So you just got to continue to get in the batting cage, keep working, and you just got to keep, and still got to stay mentally strong because this game, man, it's hard. You got to have a lot of patience. Got to keep believing in yourself, things of that nature.
Wow, you said if I make a hit 3 out of 10 times,
Hmm.
which is 30%,
Hmm.
you're a Hall of Famer.
Yes, one of the greatest ever from Detroit. I mean, who plays for Detroit? Miguel Cabrera. His batting average is probably somewhere of his career batting average is around 310, 320. He one of the best hitters ever. So that's why you got to have a lot of patience. You got to just continue to work on your grind, and you just got to try to hit that mark.
Well, as a young player and as a young person, and because I know your parents, your mom and dad, who are awesome people, you know, for those who don't have that kind of support system, how difficult can it be to persevere through a sport that doesn't give you that instant kind of recognition like the other sports that we talk about?
Man, I can only imagine. It probably has to be a lot harder than what I'm going through because, like you already said, my dad has always been around to, continue to push me when I'm down and have somebody to talk to. But not having that background, and I would just try to say you got to just get around people that are trying to do the same things as you, have the same goals as you, and just try to keep working with those people. Because when baseball, you need people, you need an outlet, you need people to talk to when things aren't going good, you need people to sit on the bench with, to talk to when things are going good. You just want to talk about the game. So it can be very difficult to not have a background, but I don't think I would say is try to get people around you that had the same goals in mind. And when two great minds think alike. So that's what I would try to say, to try to get with somebody else to get your goals right.
That's great, man. I got to admit, man, when I interview most high school players or people your age, I ask a question and it ends, but you have this great ability to kind of expound upon things. I just want to recognize that. I think there's a lot to be said about that. And I'm sure there's no shortage of talking baseball with your dad. I can only
Nah, nah.
Right. So with that, because you're really hitting on something really good. And I think it's very important you as a young person and getting this message out to peers. Again, I'm being reminded of the fun I had playing baseball. Like I said, I was a catcher, and actually I thought that was the coolest position because I was in the mix for everything. It helped me build my analytical and communication skills. But not only did I talk to the players, I had to talk to the umpire.
You got it, because I'm a catcher too. You got to keep the umpire involved because if you have him happy, you have him talking throughout the game. Sometimes he make a bad call, he be like, "Oh, that's all right." So then next time when he does, he want to rule something in your favor, you get it. So that's what I do when I get on the baseball field. I make sure first when I step on the field, I shake the umpire's hand, introduce myself, and just continue to talk to him back there because you always want the person behind you happy.
And on that note, because fellow catcher to catcher, people don't realize that if you keep that relationship intact and he asks you to do little things or her say, hey, can you tell him this? And you manage that for him, you have kind of built something up that can be favorable going forward,
Yeah.
One thing I really enjoyed, man, I guess it was the future sports psychologist in me, when I would see one pitcher in particular who would be having trouble. His dad was a coach and they had their kind of temperamental relationship, whatever that was. And to be able to stop the game and walk out to him, hand him the ball, and talk him through something, calm him down. I just felt very empowered as a young person, even as a teenager, to do that. What are some of the things you do in your role to kind of help bring things together, settle things down, and things like that?
Yeah. So first of all, how my team is set up, we all real tight, real close. So it's just I treat every pitcher different. So we got some pitchers that need me to get in their butt a little bit, tell them like this is what we got to do, this we got to do. But other pitchers, I got to counter them. It's okay, it's okay. But it's just every pitcher is different. So it's just a great thing when I can control everything and I call time, walk out to the mound. I may say a joke or so just to get them a little loose, but that's the main thing about being a catcher. You have to control your pitching staff, and you have to know how to talk to each different one of them, and you just know how to control them.
Wow, really good. Talk a little bit more about, the athlete who may be falling under football, basketball just because, but one hasn't really explored their potential to be successful in baseball, and two, being able to say it's okay. This might be an outlet for you that you didn't know you could have, where you can actually become a standout player in the sport, that may be wide open for you compared to the typical basketball and football where there's certain expectations.
Yeah. Only thing I would say is, man, just keep working at it because baseball, it's a hard game, but at the end, it could all pay off because one thing that separates baseball in the long run from other sports, I mean, basketball is the same way, but baseball is all guaranteed money. So one thing, if you make it to the majors or so, unlike football, you have to get guaranteed put into your contract. So with like baseball, you can get guaranteed money. And then also a big factor of baseball is you can get drafted to the MLB throughout many different levels. Unlike basketball and football, I know guys that went NAIA, D3, D2 that still can get drafted. So it's just a lot of different roads you can take to get to where you want to be in baseball. So that's why I would just say, just continue to stick at it. And at the end of the day, it's going to pay off.
Wow, BJ, you really educated me as
Mm-hmm.
well as our viewers. You mean to tell me, because everybody's about D1 or bust when it comes to football
Mm-hmm.
or basketball. Got to go D1, got to go D1. But you're probably really not about that life for some people.
Mm-hmm.
But you're telling me you could be an NAIA player, Division II or Division III baseball player and still get a chance to go to the major leagues?
Yes, I'm telling you, man. If I wish I had the reason. I just got a few names to mind. So it's a person that JD Martinez, he used to play for the
Yeah,
Detroit Tigers, one of
yeah.
the best hitters in the game right now, came from a Division II school. So it's just with baseball, people just don't hit their ceiling people hit their ceilings at different times. People grow, people get stronger at different times. So with baseball, it's countless of MLB players, Division III, Division II dudes that just didn't make it at that time, and that's the only offer they had. So unlike other sports, it's a lot harder to get drafted into the NBA at 2 rounds with D2 and D3. And with baseball, I think it's around 35 rounds in the MLB draft. So if you're good and people in baseball, they will come find you. It doesn't matter. Even people in junior college, tons of people in junior college has gotten first round selections, things of that nature. So in baseball, if you dominate where you are, they are going to come find you.
Wow, that's amazing. You're saying so much. As we get ready to wrap up, let's forecast the future. I know you're goal oriented. Talk about what your expectations are when you get down to Georgia at Paine College, and what your expectations are for the sport and beyond.
Yeah. So first, foremost, I'm an education person first. So first of all, I just want to graduate in 4 years with my criminal justice degree to become a state police officer. But baseball wise, just trying to get up there and just compete. I'm gonna be going up there with 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, and I just got to compete. So I just want to first just compete at my level, compete with my teammates. Just build great relationships, had a great college life. But I just really want to get up there and compete. To try to get myself out there to make it to the next level after that.
Wow, that's great, man. Well, I can't say enough about how impressed I am. I'm not surprised. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Shout out to your Uncle Two's, my guy. We all go way back. I need to see if he can cook me one of them nice pound cakes or something like that. Well, look, BJ, you've done an excellent job. You're being an excellent ambassador for all your schools, all your education, and your family. So do you have any final words that can be a word of inspiration to everyone as we go through this coronavirus pandemic and the lockdown and things like that can just be something positive for everyone to hear?
One thing is that I just know I see a lot of controversy out here. I just want everybody to trust our governor. She's just trying to continue to keep us safe. And I know everybody don't want to stay home because it's even hard for me. But I just want everybody to stay safe, stay home. And if you have to leave the house, just make sure you take the proper precautions. And I just also want to tell everybody that this is not going to last forever. So, our government is going to figure out a way to help us beat this. But I just want everybody to stay safe. For all my athletes, just keep working, just keep grinding, because this can be the time that we can get ahead of our competition. So, because, other people just sitting at home doing nothing. So I just want everybody to know that if they just continue to put this work in, put the time in right now, it can all pay off at the end.
Wow, couldn't have said it better myself. We have BJ Caldwell here representing future baseball player at Paine College, but also someone who's going to come back and have an amazing impact on society. So I'm happy to say that I knew you win, and keep up the good work. And we're just really happy to have you on this platform, and thank you for sharing your positive words.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay, thanks, man.
Mm-hmm.